Imagine this, a Boeing 777-200, one of the world's most reliable aircrafts carrying 239 souls, disappears without a trace. It's a chilling thought, isn't it? This is the story of Malaysian Airlines Flight MH370, an international passenger flight that vanished into thin air. On March 8, 2014, this Boeing 777-200 took off from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, destined for Beijing, China. It was a routine flight, just like any other. On board, 239 passengers and crew, each with their own stories, their own destinations. But this flight was anything but routine. Less than an hour after takeoff, Flight MH370 disappeared from air traffic control radars. No distress signals, no wreckage, no trace. A modern aircraft, equipped with state-of-the-art technology, simply gone. This was the chilling reality of Flight MH370 on March 8, 2014. The start of the world's greatest aviation mystery, a puzzle that to this day remains unsolved. Flight MH370, operated by Malaysia Airlines, took off from Kuala Lumpur, headed for Beijing. It was a night like any other, the 12th of March, 2014. The weather was calm, the moonlight shimmering off the wings as the Boeing 777 lifted off the tarmac. On board were 239 souls, each with their own stories, their own destinations. The crew, experienced and professional, smoothly navigated the plane into the night sky. Captain Zahari Ahmad Shah, a veteran of over 30 years, was at the helm, his co-pilot, Farik Abdul Hamid, by his side. Everything seemed ordinary, routine even. The passengers settled in, some with eyes glued to the in-flight entertainment, others drifting off to sleep, oblivious to the world outside their window. But as they soared over the South China Sea, their journey was about to take an unprecedented turn. Little did the passengers know their routine flight would soon turn into an unsolved global mystery. At 1:19 a.m., less than an hour into the flight, the aircraft communicated with air traffic control for the last time. These were the final moments when Flight MH370 was still a tangible entity, a giant metal bird soaring in the night sky, carrying 239 souls. The aircraft, a Boeing 777, was transitioning from Malaysian airspace into Vietnamese jurisdiction. This is a routine procedure, a handover that happens thousands of times a day around the globe. But on this fateful night, something went terribly wrong. The last words from the cockpit were, "Good night, Malaysian 370, a casual farewell, devoid of any hint of the impending doom. Malaysian air traffic control bid them goodbye, expecting their Vietnamese counterparts to pick up the conversation. But the anticipated handover never happened. Flight MH370 was supposed to make contact with Ho Chi Minh Air Traffic Control, but the call never came. The Vietnamese waited, their radar screens showing the flight's blip moving steadily across the screen. And then, without warning, it disappeared. It was as if someone had wiped the aircraft off the face of the earth. In the modern world, where we are constantly tracked and monitored, the notion of a huge airliner simply vanishing seems inconceivable. But that's exactly what happened. No distress signals, no emergency calls, just an eerie silence. The plane, with all its passengers and crew, had vanished into thin air. The sudden loss of contact triggered a flurry of confusion. Air traffic controllers from Kuala Lumpur to Ho Chi Minh City scrambled to reach out to the missing aircraft, but their efforts were in vain. They were met with nothing but the hum of static on the radio frequencies, and so began a mystery that would baffle the world and trigger the most extensive search operation in aviation history. A mystery that, even years later, continues to perplex investigators and aviation experts alike. Just like that, Flight MH370 vanished from the radar screens, leaving the world in shock and disbelief. In the hours following the disappearance, a massive international search and rescue operation was launched. The magnitude of this undertaking was colossal, an extensive operation that spanned across vast expanses of ocean and land, involving numerous countries and hundreds of dedicated individuals. An urgent call to action echoed around the globe, a call that was answered with an outpouring of assistance and cooperation. From the vast blue expanse of the Indian Ocean to the dense, remote jungles of Southeast Asia, the search was relentless and exhaustive. The operation encompassed a staggering 120,000 square kilometers, an area larger than many countries. It was a scale of search that the world had never seen before. Countries from all corners of the globe joined in the effort. Australia, China, the United States, Malaysia, just to name a few, all united in a common cause. With the world watching, international boundaries seemed to fade away, replaced by an urgent, shared determination to unravel the mystery. The tools of the search were as varied as the countries involved. Sophisticated underwater vehicles plumbed the depths of the ocean, searching for any trace of the lost aircraft. Aircraft equipped with advanced radar systems scanned the skies and seas, while on land, teams of experts meticulously combed through satellite data and flight simulations. Yet, despite the immense resources deployed and the unwavering commitment of those involved, the search would prove frustratingly elusive. Weeks turned into months, and months into years. The seas remained silent, the jungles kept their secrets, and the skies offered no clues. The search operation was a testament to human resilience and cooperation, a beacon of hope in the face of an unsolvable mystery. It showed us that in times of crisis we can indeed come together, united by a common cause and a shared sense of purpose. Despite the unprecedented scale of the operation, the search yielded no concrete answers. The mystery of Flight MH370 continues to confound us, a stark reminder of our vulnerability in the face of the vast, unexplored frontiers of our world. As days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, a multitude of theories began to emerge. One of the most chilling theories to surface was that of pilot suicide. Some speculated that the pilot, or possibly the co-pilot, had intentionally flown the aircraft off course, plunging it into the depths of the Indian Ocean in a deliberate act of mass murder-suicide. The theory was primarily fueled by the fact that the plane's communication systems were manually turned off, suggesting someone on board was in control. Another theory that gained traction was hijacking. It was speculated that a rogue passenger or crew member, possibly with advanced knowledge of aircraft systems, had commandeered the plane. The theory was bolstered by the fact that 2 passengers were found to have boarded the flight with stolen passports, raising questions about their true identities and intentions. Then there was the theory of mechanical failure. Some experts suggested that a catastrophic system malfunction or structural failure might have incapacitated the crew and passengers, leaving the plane to fly on autopilot until it ran out of fuel and crashed into the sea. The absence of a distress call, however, made this theory less compelling to many. Yet another theory revolved around a fire on board, possibly caused by a malfunctioning piece of equipment, which might have filled the cockpit with smoke, rendering the pilots unconscious and leaving the plane to fly on autopilot until it ran out of fuel. Conspiracy theories also abounded, ranging from the plane being shot down by a military strike to it being abducted by aliens. Each theory seemed more outlandish than the last, but in the absence of definitive proof, none could be conclusively ruled out. To this day, none of these theories have been proven, leaving the fate of MH370 shrouded in mystery. Now, a decade later, the disappearance of Flight MH370 remains one of the greatest aviation mysteries in history. It's a riddle that continues to baffle experts and laymen alike. Despite the passage of time, the quest for answers remains relentless. The search for the missing aircraft and its 239 souls on board continues, not just for closure, but also to prevent a similar tragedy from happening again. The impact of this incident on the families of the passengers is immeasurable. Each day has been a haunting reminder of their loss, a constant battle between hope and despair. Every reported finding, every new theory brings them back to that fateful day, a decade ago. Their strength and perseverance in the face of such adversity is nothing short of extraordinary. As we peel back the layers of this mystery, it's worth noting the significant changes in aviation safety that this incident has brought about. The aviation industry was shaken to its core and forced to re-evaluate its practices. Enhanced tracking systems have been implemented to ensure that no aircraft simply vanishes again. More stringent safety protocols are now in place, and the focus on mental health of flight crew has been intensified. The disappearance of Flight MH370 has served as a stark reminder of our limitations. Despite all our advancements, there are still areas of our world that remain uncharted, secrets that are yet to be uncovered. It's a humbling thought, but one that fuels our determination to keep searching, to keep questioning. It's been 10 years since the world was gripped by the mystery of Flight MH370, a decade of relentless searching, of theories and speculations, of hope and despair. But as each day passes, the mystery only deepens, the questions multiply. As we delve into the unknown, the question remains, what really happened to Flight MH370? A question that we, the collective world, yearn to answer. For the families, for the passengers, for the future of aviation safety. And until we find those answers, the mystery of Flight MH370 will continue to linger,